Hi guys, David Texas here, and what you're looking at, I believe, is a kit Telecaster. And the owner brought it in for his brother, and the problem is, well, it's got problems, okay? What we're going to do today is figure out exactly what problems those are and go from there. Let them know what's going to cost. Sorry for my big arm in the way, guys. Hold on a minute. I'm going to explain to him what it costs to fix this and get playing properly again. But first, got to find out what's going on with it. So let's kind of move things around here a bit in the shop. I've been working on amps all this time. It's good to get back with a guitar for a change. I've been doing so many amps lately. All right, let's turn that volume down a bit. Let's turn this up. All right. Wow. Okay, well, you hear that. We got a ground issue right off the bat. SOS, SOS, save our shit, save our ship. Sorry, save our ship. Wow, it's on every one of them. You're kidding. Guys, believe it or not, I'm picking up a radio station. This thing's not grounded at all. I'm picking up a radio station off this thing. And it's an AM station, they're doing a news broadcast. God, wait until this guy hears this. I wish I heard him do a call there. We know what station it is. Well, I've had that happen once before, years ago. Yeah, everything on this metal is picking up me as a ground. Okay, let's turn that off. That's not doing good. Alright, well, we're going to break into this thing and figure out, we're going to break into this thing and figure out what's going on with it. But first we got to let him know that there's a ground issue with it, and I don't know what's going to cost to fix this. Maybe simple as just, putting the ground wire back together or putting one on it. May not have one. Okay guys, we're just figuring out what to do about this guitar, since it's his brother's, alright? We'll go ahead and do a setup on it anyway, since we did promise to do that. And we'll have to come back and see what he wants to do later on. It also needs a string tree on it. It only has one. There should be two on this type of guitar. I don't know why he didn't put the other one on there. Kind of weird. Kind of like, well, you didn't finish the job, guy. You gotta finish the job. Put the other string tree on there in the kit. I'm sure it came with it. So let's go ahead and take the strings off this, and we'll go from there. And I can't wait to see what's inside this thing, see what's going on here to cause it to pick up a radio station. But you heard it here first. Guy was announcing the news. And I'm pretty sure it was AM station, and that's how it does that, it picks up that one. Somebody's not grounded right, somebody touching the wrong part, and it's become a receiver. This is definitely a homemade job back here, because he's got these ferrules all over the place. See this? But I gotta give him an A for effort, you know what I'm saying? He tried. Whoever did this tried. Okay guys, we're back on the, well, I like to call it the broadcaster. I had to stop for a while because the radio announcer was saying some funny shit. It's like, oh man, this little guitar actually picks up radio waves. AM I mean, you really got to screw it up pretty good to get that to happen. You know, the wire. But anything that you can screw up, I can fix. You don't have to worry about that. We'll get her fixed and back to playing like a guitar instead of like a radio. Poor little baby. It's had a rough time of it, haven't you? Alright, let's get you out of there. There's a little nightmare here. I think I showed you earlier about all the solder's falling off this thing, as well as there is absolutely no ground wire to the bridge on this thing whatsoever. Okay? And get the job done quickly. Quickly. Oh man. Alright. The wiring they use in here, I'm not going to bother with that because they didn't pay me to rewire this thing completely. But I'm hoping that this is the correct wiring. I don't know. I mean, wiring for the Parsons Street pickups out of Stumac is different than most others. So you've got to make sure you follow the correct wiring diagram. You can't just go, oh, it's a Telecaster, we do this on those. You know, I don't think they're the same. I think they're pretty much different. All right, I may be wrong, but you know, I've not used these before. I've not used Parsons Street's, you know, singles. Okay, I've always used the humbuckers. Now I've got to get that old cap off there and put a new one on for the guys, because I measured it and it was not existent. So first thing I need to do is get my soldering gear out that has my heat sinks in it. Alright, get my flux out, get my heat sinks out. Alright, I need 3 of those. Where are you? Okay. Let's get an extra one out just in case it falls on the floor. We got the wicking material out. Right? Get that old solder off. Right? It's called solder wick. Way too much to use a solder sucker. You know, that just takes a little piece off boards. We got our heat sinks. We got our flux. Okay? We've got our solder and our soldering iron, which is now on. And last thing we need to do is get a cap. Okay, now the trick is to clip this thing above where you're going to remove the solder. Right, real quickly. What I want to do is come in here, put the heat to this, right, and pull this little thing out of here very quickly. And do my level best not to touch anything like that. That's how it's done, guys. Hope you could have seen that. Just gonna scoot in a little closer to this next one. Alright, again, I'll put the heat sink right on the leg of the pot to keep any heat from going up that leg. Right? Then I'll take the tip of my soldering iron, put it on the solder itself, and start removing this cap. Now when it heats up, it should come off pretty easily. It sure didn't sound right when we were playing it. Especially when it's picking up radio frequency, that really sounded funky, you know? And this stuff's just not melting too well. There she comes. Well, shoot. Alright. Just don't leave it on there that long. So, we're going to clip it out of there and pull it out the other way. Oh boy, what fun this has become. Like that. Of course, all the solder fell off the back of this too, for the ground. This was a rough done job, guys. So, what we're trying to do is ground, I believe, this leg to the back of this pot and use the cap leg as part of it. Now that could be what the wiring calls for, you know, on these. And then take the middle part of the other one and do it that way. So let's just see if that's what that should be like about like that. And ground that so that the leg's grounded to the back of the pot. And this one goes in the middle, like this. And it's not grounded to anything, this goes to the pot. Okay? These both have to be facing upwards when it's all said and done. So I gotta make sure to take all the length out of this I can take out. Like that. And then I'll do a little J-hook on this leg, but not over the wiring. And that's the thinnest wire I've ever seen on a guitar, is wire up. Some great thick wire on the pickups, but wire they use on this, on the actual, you know, other parts of the guitar, is just absolutely piss poor because it just fell off. That's one thing I didn't want to do, is have to rewire this guitar. But the wiring is so bad on this, it's so thin, it fell off. Great. This is a nightmare. And when I saw it making the, you know, radio frequency, I notified the owner, and I said, this thing's going to be a total stumble. You know what? He starts with an F. And it sure is. So this little wire here, that's got one single wire in it, is totally useless. Oh man. Why do they do it this way? I guess that, you know, the drawing said to do it that way. I don't know why. All right, let's clip that free. Alright. We're still going to use this leg to ground this post with. Holy cow. And I'll have to find some new wire to put on there because that other fell off. Okay, well, I was going to try to use the existing solder that they had these wires wrapped up in. And not only do they have that, there's a couple of wires that have been broken off in that solder ball that, here it is, right? This came loose, right? So it's like, I'm hoping that's not a lead wire off the pickup, but that also had a lead wire that was part of a solder stick that was not melted all the way through and hanging in there. And I soldered it badly. I just got it up. I said, hell to it. Just get this thing connected, get this thing over with. I'm going to have to go back here and do this right. It's on there. It's not going anywhere. I mean, it's on there real well. But I don't like the way it looks. I may leave it, I may not. But anyway, gosh, that's driving me crazy. Okay? Because when I touched it to my flux, it just sucked it in real quick, and there it was. Like, oh, I didn't mean to put it there. I was going to put it right above it where those little balls are there right here. So they'd suck those in as well with my flux. And I think that's what I'm going to do, guys. Once I clean off my soldering iron, it's got some of that deep crazing kind of crap on the inside of it, I think. I'm going to put that back where it belongs. I'm not going to let it sit there. Okay, so let me zoom in here and show you a few more things. Like I said, you always keep that little heat sink on there to keep the sink from overheating. Put that right in there. Now my iron's working like it should, so I cleaned it. Take that back off again. Now, a problem with this wire up, guys, if you look at this, there's a lot of, there's a lot of exposed wire down here. It's not soldered. And that is frayed and about to split. So I'm going to go ahead and put some more put some more solder on that. Hopefully it'll hold without splitting. But that goes to the jack. Gosh darn it. But let's put it on there anyway, just protect it, so we can get this thing out of the shop. And now my little soldering iron is working like it's supposed to work, like a champ. Alright, that's still holding like a champ. I'm not going to bother that, but I've got to replace this one wire that's come loose. There's no choice in that matter, right? And it goes over to this leg. And it wasn't long enough to begin with, it looks like. Of course, I had to bend that up some. Anyway, we'll take off the old solder. No, we won't. Let's get this old wire out, put one through the old solder. Okay, I need a piece of wire. Okay, well, I started to replace it with some green wire that's like twice the diameter of this wire. It's on there. It's like, nah, that'd be confusing as hell. So I'm gonna use my good wire, right, my braided, to fix that little mistake that's been made there. And that should hold real well. I'm moving that around. All right. I'll come in here and I'll use my soldering iron just to poke that in there and grab it. Okay, so now let's get this old one out of here. Old piece like that. Let's put this new one in, because they put a ton of solder on this. It should go right in there. I don't want to do this very long, and I'm going to put a heat sink on there because we're getting real close to temperature problems. I have room to put my wire through. Alright, so let's do this. Let's heat her up. Come on, baby, the other wire's moving. You move too. Let me in there. Let me in the hole. Stubborn, there you go. Alright, now I caught it. I didn't catch it very good though, damn it. Hold on, guys. No, I did, and that's plenty in there. Especially with this kind of wire. Alright, so I come on the other side and catch it over here real quick. Well, it'll take longer than I thought. So let's sync this up too. And when I get a chance, I'm going to go through here and clean off this extra flux I left on the back of this thing. Just to be nice and spick and span. And I'm trying to also be aware of where these wires are going and not touching one another and not causing a problem when they overlap. Alright, there she goes. Alright, now I caught that one. So, that replaces that mistake. What else do I need to replace out here as a mistake? Okay, with that green wire off the 5-way, that's a leg for the potentiometer to control its, might help if I turn this on. To control its sound, turn that particular one on and off. Okay, so what we're going to do here is replace this wire, another one, with a green one like the one you have, but thicker, much thicker. Better piece of wire. Put that through the leg that I didn't push enough through on that one. I had to push that through a lot better. Well, I see what happened. It went down and touched the bottom of it. Maybe not. We'll see. Anyway, I have to replace this anyway. So let's get in there and replace that. And then we'll put a new one on. And I don't have to worry about heat sink on this because there's nothing electronic about this thing. Let's get that off there. Get that out of the hole. Oh, don't be stubborn. Alright, let's just stop. Cut it. Alrighty. We're just going to cut that wire off and wrap one around it. Since we can't get it off without tearing up everything on it. Like that. What the hell is this? That was absolutely nothing. So we're going to wrap the new wire around this leg and then solder it up. So it'll hold on that spot. It's going to damage this cheap 5-way, 3-way. I have to replace it. That very well could happen. So you got to be careful when you're working with other people's parts, especially if they're not very good ones, and then that being responsible for getting a new part for it if you break the one they had, because it won't take the heat. That's why I didn't want to rewire this and be responsible for rewiring it, because it is kind of, you know, on the cheap side, but There's always a way to do this and get it done right. This way, that's not going in. It's just as if it went through that leg. It's wrapped around that leg and on there very well, thank you. Now, this will be tinned. I'll tin this up so it'll go through the hole easier. And by tinning, we mean just take a little bit of solder and just run down the legs of it, just like that. Yep, and that's that. Okay, so I want to shove this through a little better than what it went through. Along with this, I want to shove it I want to shove it this. So it goes in there. And check every loose wire on this monster, this nightmare thing. And then button it back up again, but I still have to run a ground wire to the bridge. Oh boy. Well, I think I'll do is I'll tape a piece of wire, sorry. Again, you can't see anything. I'll run a ground wire from the plate over to here, tape it here with some filament tape, put some super glue on it to tape it so not the wire. So it's always touching this plate here, so always have a ground. Okay, so the next step, I hope you can see this, probably not, but I gotta get this done, is to heat this up and pull it through. It should be able to come through the same way, like that. Of course, there's no way I can keep my hands out of the way because it's going to be a very handsy type of job. I want to do this fast. No, that's not going to do it. I can't do it that way. Okay, so I'm going to have to use the needle nose. I'm going to clip. What I'm going to do is clip this, get that old one out, open up that hole, and put those two new wires in it. That's the best way to do it. Just take the old wire out. Use a little device I've got to open up this hole. If the thing won't do it, there's a piece of wire still left on this thing. It's making a nightmare mess. Come on, baby. Get out of there. Alright, so that's out of there. That should come off there. Why is it still sticking on that thing? It's part of the old piece of junk wire that the guy had used. Now, I'll take a tool I've got, open up that hole again, then put both of those through the right way. And I still have a heat sink tool on there, so that's not a problem. And I'm being very careful not to get anything burnt on this guitar by keeping anything I'm doing that may create a burn off the body of the guitar, like I'm doing right now. And I want to really open up that hole like that. Okay, so that's open now. I can put these two wires through and zap them with some solder. Since both of them are tin, they should go through pretty easily. This one should find a space in this. No, well, of course not. I open it up. There it goes. Yeah, okay. Come on, baby. Find your way in there. I'll J-hook this one as well. And close it down so it doesn't touch anything else. Leave my heat sink in place. Keep it over the top of the guitar. Sorry, over the edge of the guitar, not touching the guitar. And then zap it with some solder. I want to keep my heat sink on like that. Bingo. Get that smoke away from me. Alright. Yep, that did it. Alright, so the controls are back to the three-way for this pot. Now, I want the ground this guitar finally by putting this, right, my ground wire, over here on my tone pot where they usually go, to a tone pot. Oh boy, it's going to fall right off, isn't it? The solder won't hold for dick on this thing. Alright, I'm just going to have to take that off. Clean that up. Damn it. In the meantime, I'll wrap this around there, since this is a ground anyway, and run this through. And once I solder it up, it'll have a hold of that as well. And here it comes through to my bridge, like this. Right? Well, I'm pretty sure I tinned that, didn't I? Yeah, it should go through pretty readily. This is tinned. Now there it is. Okay, so this we'll lay across the top like that with some tape, not on top of the wires but below them, with some tape right there on the plastic. You can see that. Yeah, you can. And then there'll be some super glue, right, because it's underneath the thing, you won't see it, and it'll hold that in place forever. Okay, but not over the top of those two wires you see, but underneath them. All right, let's go ahead and do that now. So that'll flip up like this. Okay, and I could also just do this. It's so thin. I could just go ahead and put it. Oh, I'm undoing it. I could just go ahead and put it in that hole there. That non-screw hole. No, I can't. That's to the wire through. So put this screw hole like that. Still use my filament tape to put across there. Make sure it doesn't go anywhere. It won't go anywhere now. Okay? It'll go nowhere. You shall go nowhere. But I still have to solder this darn thing up again. Doggone it. And this is a soldering little nightmare. So I've got to get this thing cleaned off as best I can. And what I'm doing now, guys, I'm called scoring the back of the pot. All right, that's first of all, get all that old flux off there. There's still too much of it on there, but also give me little tiny indentions in the pot that I can actually get this thing to adhere to. Sort of like little canal-like things to go on the so the solder flows into them. Now for the magic tape trick. Alright, this is called filament tape. And why it's called that, it's got little thin shreds of plastic filament run through it. I'll show it to you here in a minute, like this. See that? And it's some of the strongest tape for certain applications. And on this application, I just want it to hold that little tiny part down, that little piece of plastic down. Then I'll put a little bit of super glue on it. Go on, flip over like that. Make sure it goes nowhere ever. It'll be just like hardened on there. All right, and that little piece of metal right there I'm pointing out right now that you can't see. Now you can. Little piece of metal right there that I'm pointing at. All right, try this. See that now? In the hole? That'll be touching the back of that bridge. We'll zoom in on that. Isn't that cool? All right, that's what we want to do. We want to look at that part right there and take all this monstrous amount of solder and reconstitute it, as well as grab that ground wire while we're at it. In order to do that, I want to go ahead and put it in a little case it belongs in, a little hole it belongs in, so when I flip this, it doesn't pull it loose again. I gotta make sure I got enough slack on there too. So this all works homogeneously. I love that word. And no, it doesn't mean you're gay. Okay, here we go. So, time to put some heat to the pedal metal. Okay, here we go. Will this work? Probably not. I've got to reconstitute this solder, as well as introduce some new to capture that new wire that's around here. That hissing sound you hear is my flux heating up to grab all this stuff, you know, right underneath where it belongs. Now, did it capture it? Yeah, I say it did capture it. It's not going anywhere. That's a good job. And get this thing back where it belongs. We'll soon find out. And what you do with these, believe it or not, you just kind of just gently put these in position and then try to get them squared up, right, like that. Next thing we do, we screw them down to the plate. Too much has been done to try to fix this thing when it started out just to be, you know, get that hum to go away. It's like, wow. But it does have some great pickups on it, you know? So this could be, in the right hands, an excellent guitar, you know? Like I said, you got the right pickups and the right gear on this thing, you know, most guitars can be a real winner. All right, now, we've got to gently shove all this stuff down in position. It's like we're doing. That's all you can do. And pray it breaks nothing up as far as, you know, connections are concerned. Okay? And then I'll get a wrench to fit that real quick. I'll tighten that down. So there they are in position. Then we've got the pick guard to put back in place, which is right here. That down. So we get rid of a few things now. And nothing getting in its way. Because that has happened to me before. It's like, what the heck's in the way? The wire got in the way. Yep. Clean access to all three positions. And you didn't see that. Oh no. Alright, look at this. See? Clean access in all three directions. No problem. After doing that a few years, you get used to it, because a lot of people do that. You know, what a pretty cap, what a pretty knob. Pretty. And they don't stop to think, it's like, I wonder if that's going to be a problem putting that back in there or not. Okay, so what comes next, you ask? I wonder. We're going to put just a little bit of really slippery, slimy, gooey, nasty super glue number 10 on this, like that. And let it dry real fast, because it does. And then, once it's dry, sticking to us, we're going to put that plate back down on there. Then we're going to put down the pick guard. Then try to play as a little mother. And of course, this would have my most hated saddles known to man on this thing. Ask me how much I hate these things. I really hate these things. Now, it wouldn't be so bad if there were 6 of them, because you could do this thing right and intonate it properly. It's not what we have here. We have 3. It's been sharpened up to take care of this little issue. Okay, so what you're looking at is untreated fretboard. Now, fortunately, the tangs are already coming sharp through once the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 of them are coming through to cut you. It's about half need to be filed down and fixed. But like I said, this guy doesn't want to spend any money on this thing, or to spend very little on it, which I don't blame him. First wants to see you play. You know, play properly instead of, you know, being your morning wake-up call on AM 96. Oh, goodness. I'll never get over that, guys. That's only happened twice in my shop. It's like so funny each time it happens. Okay, well, I got a little distracted because our gardener's out doing our yard. And what I should have done first would be to what? To dress this neck, because it is an untreated maple, right? But he may, at some time, decide it'd be prudent to go ahead and shellac this, to put a finish on these things like it should be done. It should have been done when he bought it. You know, it's probably one of those things they tell you to do. Or not to do, it just depends. It's like untreated rosewood. But we're going to go ahead and do a fret dressing on it, clean them up with an eraser. And nice and clean and shiny again. Isn't that special? And what you do, you take this string, bring it up to this port right here, you cut it and put it down inside this one like this, and then do your wrap, right? You don't cockeye, you don't counter wrap it, you start wrapping, okay? And let's just be careful with these. I don't want to throw them away. So we're going to start out like this. I'm going to come up just a little bit past that. Cut that, catch it, then drop it on the ground. Damn it. Okay, and then start our turn. Right? Now on these large strings, you don't need to wrap them once again through the part itself. That's kind of a waste. Okay? On the thinner ones, yes, that's a good idea to do that. And I'll show you what I'm talking about here in a minute. Okay guys, here we are with the unbound strings, the G string, right? We're going to take it up again, not as far as the other ones because it's a thinner string. You following me? And there's something else that we do. This is the one where we start wrapping these things through. Now, once through, but when we spin it around, right, we'll come through it again like this. See this? And back down again. I hope you can see that with my hands in the way. These are the ones we spin around through and back around. Alright, still trying to get 2 or 3 wraps. Not much more than that. But these are the ones that have a tendency to pop out unless you do this on these type of tuners. Okay? But these bound ones or wound ones, what we're going to call them, bound or wound, less likely to happen because of their diameters. Okay, well we solved the really loud humming noise by putting the wires to the jack on properly and replacing that bad jack. Hi guys, David Tex here. We just got to finish working on his little Telecaster, doing some rework on it, some setups. What do you think?
Oh, it's sounding a whole lot better than it did, and yeah.
Okay, why don't you introduce yourself?
I'm Brian Perez. Been playing guitar for about 10 years, and not really that good, but still just like plucking the strings. But yeah.
Well, let's hear something. Let's hear Clean Channel. Go ahead. cool. Let's get something nasty here real quick with it. Go. Nice. All right. Well, guys, any questions, give me a holler. David, Texas. Bye. Say bye.
Bye.